Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to cover a little bit about driver's license, visas, a little bit about different types of visas and entering and exiting the Philippines. If you're going to be here more than 90 days, your American driver's license is good for 90 days. After that you need to convert to a Filipino driver's license, and by convert you don't surrender your driver's license. You keep your American driver's license, but you pay a fee, fill out a form. You may have to take an eye exam or something like that, and uh, get a Filipino driver's license. Since we both drive on the same side of the road, they drive on the right side, same as we do. You don't have to take a driver's test. If you drive from a country that drives on a different side of the road, you have to take a driver's test, from what I understand. So you can drive when you first get here on your American driver's license, but be aware it's not a pleasant experience driving here. You can rent a car, you can rent a motorcycle. Motorcycles are inexpensive. You can buy a motorcycle cheap here, but be aware they're not the safest form of travel here. I mean, people do it all the time safely, but I won't get on one here. I've seen the way it happens, because you have chickens, dogs, everything running out, and I've in the road, and people walking on the road. People are not cautious drivers here, and I've seen several accidents where dogs run out in front of a motorcycle, and I know of three or four young people that have been killed in motorcycle accidents here. So you have those options. You can rent a motorcycle in some areas too. Some places you can rent a car. But driving here is not a pleasant experience. If you get road rage, you definitely don't want to be behind the wheel here, because you will get pissed off. On the visa, I'll just go basically give the basics here. I'm not going to go real in depth on some of these visas. Of course, like I said, you get that first 30-day free tourist visa. If you're going to be here longer than 30 days, the next step is what's called a waiver. It's not an extension like everybody says. It's a waiver for 29 days. That's a 29-day waiver. And there are fees for all these. It ranges from place to place. You can do this online, of course. They do have Bureau of Immigration website, so you can apply for these waivers online. It's best to do it ahead of time. It takes at least 3 days to get approved, so you don't want to let your permanent visa or your current visa expire. So give yourself at least a week before, and apply. Either go into an immigration office or go online and apply for your waiver. And then after the waiver, you can do the extension. Now, it used to be, my first one was 6 months, but they've done away with the 6 months, so it's 1 or 2 month extension now. And of course, the cost is going to depend on, is it 1 month or 2 months? Also, with that first extension, you have to get an ACRI card. It's Alien Certificate of Registration card, something like that. I don't know the exact name. I can't remember. I did have to have that at one time before I got my permanent visa here. But that costs around $100. So, like I said, each office, some of them, they don't all have the exact same policies. So one office might be a little cheaper than the other one, or more expensive. The best one to find out what your price and know the price is going to be is the online form. Now, if you're here a year and you've gotten waivers during that time, that year they're going to want you to come into an office and talk to you. They're going to be asking questions like, why are you here so long on a tourist visa? Do you have a girlfriend here? Stuff like that. I've never heard of anybody getting denied for it, but they're going to ask those questions. You can be here up to 36 months on tourist visa if you keep getting the extensions. But in that 36 months, after 36 months, you have to leave the country. You absolutely have to leave the country. It can be for 24 hours and come back, but you have to leave the country. Now, let's say you've been here uh, 5, 7 months or whatever, and you leave the country and you come back to the Philippines. Say you go to Thailand or something like that for a week or two or whatever. You come back, you're starting all over again. You're back to the 30-day free visa, then the extension or waiver, then the extensions, just a reset. I don't think you have to get a new ACRI card if it's only a year old, because that renews every year. You have to renew that. I think it's every year you have to renew the ACRI card. But I think if you leave and come back, it's still good within a year. And on the subject of leaving, if you've been here 6 months or longer, you have to get an exit clearance. It's called an ECC, Immigration Clearance Certificate, they call it. But there's an A and there's a B. Now, a B is like if you're here on I think it's 13A marriage visa, that means you're coming back. So you fill that form out or that clearance certificate, and that means you're coming back into the Philippines. If you're here on a tourist visa, you have to do the ECCA, even if you plan on coming back. But do that at least a week ahead of time. It expires, I think it's good for 30 days, so don't get it too soon and let it expire. But give yourself time before your flight leaves to get it. Now, there's people claim you can do it at the airport when you go to fly out, but I've heard that might not be the case. You might not get it in time, and you might miss your flight if you try that one. I've never tried that. I've only had to get one ECC since I've been here, because now I am on a permanent visa. Of course, they have different types of visas. They have the marriage visa, the 13A, and I believe there is a probationary period on that for 1 year. And during that time, while you're in the probationary period, you have to get the ECC if you leave. But after that, once you get approved for a more permanent one, then you don't. You might want to check the immigration website to make sure on that. That's the way I understand it, though. Of course, with a tourist visa, you cannot work. You have to have a work visa here to work or get approved to work. So if you get caught working on a tourist visa, they will boot you out of the country. Now, what I'm here on is a SRRV, a Special Residency Retirement Visa. With that visa, you don't go to immigration, you go to the Philippine Retirement Authority. Now, that can have some hefty costs. The application fee at the time, I think at this time, is $1,400 US. Since I'm a veteran, I also had to put $1,500 in a bank to be held in a bank, and that stays there until I leave for good. I cancel my SRRV, or if I bought a condo, I could use the money for that. But different tiers there on that SRRV. If you're not a veteran, it can cost way more. Like there's one that's I think $10,000 deposit, one's $20,000 deposit, and the prices might have changed a little bit. They've changed that program because they've lowered some of the age limits and stuff like that. So look at the Philippine Retirement Authority website, the PRA, and you can get all the information there on the types of SRRVs, age restrictions, the requirements for each one, and all that. With the SRRV, I don't have to get an onward ticket if I come into the Philippines. I can leave, come back. I can get a one-way ticket, not have to worry about it. And when I leave, I don't have to fill out or apply for an exit clearance. So that's really good for that. And I don't have to worry about going to apply for a visa every 2 months. The only thing I have to do is renew my ID card every year. And as a veteran, it only costs me like, I think it's $20 a year. I can't remember the last one. They gave me 2 years, so I've got 2 years left on the card now. But I think regularly for non-veterans, it's about $300 a year to renew that card. You're not renewing the visa, you're just renewing the ID card, which when you leave the country, they're going to want to see that ID card, or if you're coming back in, they need to see that ID card. So that's got to be up to date. Or as tourist visa goes, do not overstay. Say there is penalties. If you overstay your tourist visa, there's a penalty, and the longer you overstay, the bigger that penalty is. It can get big enough you can't afford to pay it, and if they catch you, they can blacklist you from the country on overstay. So make sure you keep your visas up to date. Your tourist, if you're going to be here long term on a tourist visa, make sure you always diligently, every 2 months or whatever it is, get that visa. You don't want to get here in an overstay situation. It gets bad enough you could end up in jail, and you do not want to be in a Philippine jail. Ask a guy named Vitali right now. And so that's all I can think of right now offhand for the visas. You're not allowed to own or carry a gun in the Philippines. Filipinos can. And like Anne, she could own a gun. She would have to have a training course like that. But I'm not allowed to own a gun. I'm not allowed to carry a gun. So you caught with a gun, it could be big trouble. As far as personal items like toothpaste, soap, stuff like that, you can buy a lot of the same brands as you can in the United States. Toothpaste, we get Crest or Colgate here at the local store. So if you're coming here and you're worried about having toothpaste or soap or something like that, don't worry about it. You can get pretty much the same stuff here you can there, and it's cheaper or the same cost. So if you want to save space in your packing and stuff like that, you can buy that stuff here. Electronics here are more expensive, so don't think you're going to come here and buy a laptop or something like that and save money. You're not. It's going to be just as much or more than it is in the United States. So electronics here are not cheaper. A lot of things are cheaper here, but not electronics. If you're here and you need to order something online, of course, Amazon has free shipping to the Philippines on some items. You got to be aware of which ones they are, and it'll tell you if it's free shipping or not. But be aware if it's over a certain cost, there will be import fees if it's over $200, especially, or if it's camera equipment. Sometimes it doesn't matter the cost, but it's if you order for on, you can check a box on Amazon for international free shipping. And if it's $49 or more, you can get free shipping into the Philippines with it through Amazon. Their version of what we would call Amazon here is called Shopee. A lot of stuff comes from within the Philippines. A lot of stuff comes from China. And what I do if I'm shopping on Shopee, I'll click the box that says domestic because I don't want it coming from China, and it takes a lot longer from China. So you can buy a lot of the same things there you can on Amazon. A lot of it's, be aware, cheap Chinese stuff or or counterfeit stuff on some things, but it is a lot cheaper, and you can do cash on delivery. You don't have to pay at the time you order. You can wait till it gets to your door and pay for it there. On most things, everything I bought Shopee has been COD, and Ann buys Shopee all the time. She's always buying something Shopee. So you have online resources like that. Of course, you can get, I think, Lazada. I've never ordered from them, and all the other online sites. But be aware, if it's coming from another country, except for China, import fees can add up really quick. If it's over $200, you get probably 90% chance you're going to pay an import fee on it. So anyway, hope these videos helped you. Hope you got some good information out of it. Like and share if you can. Share it with your friends or anybody that's thinking to come here. Leave me a comment. Any interaction at all helps the algorithm and get it out to more people. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.